moment when my life changed was in 2011. I ended up catching 5 felonies in the same day, and I was looking at 2 to 22 years in prison.
Hey guys, and welcome to the How I Changed My Life series of the channel, where I'll be posting real life stories of people who have drastically transformed their life. So to give you a bit of background on this series, I posted an ad online asking for people to submit their own stories, and I was blown away by the responses that I got. So in this series, I plan on sharing my favorite stories in the hopes that they'll inspire you and make you realize that change is always possible in life. And if you currently feel stuck or feel dissatisfied, your life doesn't need to remain the way it currently is. So today we're going to be taking a look at the story of Alex Aguilera and how he went from facing 22 years in prison to becoming an artist and an entrepreneur. If you like this video, please make sure you subscribe and maybe share it with somebody who might feel stuck currently in their life. Change is always possible, and these stories prove just that. So now, without further ado, let's take a listen to Alex's story.
How I changed my life. My name is Alex Aguilera. I'm 33 years old. I'm a father, hip-hop artist, painter, writer, poet, graph artist, entrepreneur, and many other things. And this is my story. My life before it changed was troubled. It wasn't very abundant, if you will. My family comes from a very poor part of Mexico, in Guadalajara, Jalisco. And so although I have some very beautiful roots going back for generations, I do come from a very poor part of Mexico. And my family migrated to Los Angeles, specifically Compton. And when I was born, my mother and father and older brother lived in a half garage in Compton, so it was rough. There were a lot of cold showers, lots of love. Food was always on the table one way or another as far back as I can remember, but my parents struggled very much so. I discovered hip-hop at the young age of 7, and it changed my life completely. One of my earliest memories of hip-hop was my mom snapping my brother's Death Row's Greatest Hits album in half and saying it was the devil's music because it had profanities. And I remember thinking, I have to know what that is. I had to know what was on that album. Not to like it, but to know it. I had always enjoyed music all of my life. I always had an ear for it, but the first time I heard Hail Mary by Tupac and Ambitions as a Writer, I was hooked. Early on in my life, I got into a lot of trouble. I was addicted to graffiti. I fought a lot. I hung with the wrong crowd. I spent time with a lot of gang members. It spun my life in a direction that would affect me forever. The moment when my life changed was in 2011. I ended up catching 5 felonies in the same day, and I was looking at 2 to 22 years in prison. I didn't have a lot of priors up to that point. I had always gotten in trouble with the law with very small things, but that was a major situation. And I had no choice but to make a decision at that moment before I turned myself in what it was going to be moving forward, because I realized that whatever path I was on was completely wrong, and the mistakes that I had made had now culminated to this event, and I had no choice but to surrender to God. And I remember being on the floor of my empty apartment in which everything was broken from myself, and I sobbed And I cried out to him and I told him that I needed him and that if he was real, I wanted to know it now. And I needed to see it. I tested him. I challenged him. I said, if you help me, I will say your name to people every day of my life until you take me. But this is it for me. And I need you. They have me locked down. Cold case. Open shut case. So I ended up making it out of that situation without doing very much jail time, not even prison time. And I started a new path wherein I would subconsciously, and not consciously at the time, but subconsciously began a path of self-empowerment, self-improvement, and self-sufficiency and self-employment. And I wanted to be successful without having to do everything society wants you to do, like go to college and wait your turn in line to be even just a manager somewhere corporate. And I had worked enough corporate jobs to know that it wasn't for me. So I opened up a business in 2013 and I never looked back. I now own 5 different businesses. I'm an actor. I am a father. I make music. My stage name is Escrow, Escro. I'm a painter. I write books. I'm a published poet. I love graffiti to this day, and the only difference is now I make music a positive thing. I use music as a means to deliver a positive message to the people that are listening and to encourage them to go after everything that they have in their heart and mind as a quote-unquote goal, because those are not there by mistake. They're there by intention, and they're put there by your divine creator. So if you have the ability to feel it, it's because that's God's way of letting you know it's yours already. You just have to claim it. There's been other situations in my life wherein my life has certainly adjusted and taken turns. I was in a very bad car accident in 2015 wherein I could have lost my life. That was caused by my recklessness. And it was a big learning moment. I realized I was certainly not done learning and making mistakes, but more importantly that I needed to be very careful the steps that I made moving forward, because even though I felt like I was on the right track in so many other areas, it only takes one small misstep and you're off the cliff. And this is no game, this is no joke. You don't have second chances. So if I hadn't gotten out of that situation, that would have been the end of Alex. I also went through a very major breakup in 2017 with the woman I thought was the woman of my dreams, and it taught me a lot about life, about patience, about love, about what love really is or is supposed to be. And it was something that I'm very thankful for. Today I'm very happy to say that I'm a full-time father. I have my child 24/7 basically. I have a 12-year-old son, and he's my heart. He's everything in the world, and everything I do is for him. It's been a long journey just with him, and I'd love to write a book about that someday, because that's its own magnificent, gut-wrenching, gorgeous story.